After 23 days on the run and a week in the hospital, escaped killer David Sweat is now back behind bars. But at this place, yeah, there's no honor block. You are about to see his new home here, 5 Points Correctional Facility. It's a newer maximum security prison in the central New York town of Romulus. It is here where he will be spending 23 hours a day in the prison's special housing unit. This is a place where inmates spend all but 1 hour in solitary confinement. Just think about that. 1 hour. It is a tiny 105 square foot cell with a bed, a riding platform, a toilet, a sink, and a shower. Joining me now, Larry Levine, former federal inmate and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants. Larry, welcome back.
Glad to be with you, Brooke.
All right, so let's talk about this place, 5 Points here, because we did some digging and found out that officials actually thwarted an escape at this place back in November of 2011, found a hole in a fence, found a dummy like the dummies that Sweat and Matt, left behind in their beds. So do you think that they will be keeping extra eyes on David Sweat as he's at this place?
Well, his accommodations, they've certainly changed. His world's now a 10 by 10 cell. They have him on suicide watch. He's not wearing a uniform. He's wearing a papier-mâché jumpsuit. That's normally what they do because they don't want him to try to hang himself. And then they probably have either a plexiglass wall where they can watch him, or they've got closed-circuit cameras on him 24 hours a day. So he's going to have no privacy, no TV, no commissary, no microwave, no mingling with other inmates. His whole world has changed completely.
What, Larry, is the reputation of this place, of 5 Points?
Well, it's a maximum security institution. If you compare it to Clinton had about 3,000 people. This place has, roughly 1,500 people, and 71% of them, it's reported, are dangerous maximum security inmates. But the place was built in 2000, so it's brand new, essentially. So the whole institution is going to be high tech, high security. The staff is on alert. The whole New York DOC is on alert now. But they're really cracking down. All the things that we heard going on in Clinton, I can assure you these aren't happening at 5 Points. They're on the guard right now. They're watching this guy.
Yeah. You learned a little bit more about David Sweat. You talked to someone who did time with him, who called him quiet and calculating. What stories did he share with you?
Well, he said that Sweat had a lot of juice. Juice means influence in the system. That Sweat was working in one tailor shop. He apparently got fired in that tailor shop for reasons we don't know, but they transferred him to a different tailor shop, and that's where my source worked with him at. And apparently in that institution, when you get fired from a work center, they don't transfer you to an identical work center within the institution. Really doesn't happen. And I also learned, this is amazing. I'd never heard anything like this. The steam pipes that they had in the institution, they have cable TV in the inmate cells at Clinton, which is kind of normal. I've heard of that before, but they would put the schedule for the heating system and the steam pipes right on the TV to tell the inmates when these would not be functional. So essentially, they gave the inmates a blueprint when the pipes wouldn't be active. And I think that was instrumental in helping them escape.
How about that? Now that he's at 5 Points and will be spending, he'll have this 1 hour a day for exercise, and you use the word juice. Will that even matter at this new place? Will he even see other people at all other than guards?
Maybe medical staff, counselor, or case manager, but he's not going to be mingling with any other inmates. He's going to be in complete isolation. And generally in the New York system, when somebody escapes, they put you in the special housing unit for up to 5 years. But on the other hand, they're going to need him to testify against Joyce Mitchell and possibly Officer Palmer. So if that's the case, they may move him to yet another institution, and they may give him just a little bit of leeway. Maybe he won't spend 5 years sitting in the hole or the shoe, but he'll certainly be hard timing it, as we call it. He's not gonna, it's like going from, let's say, a 4-star hotel to living in a hut somewhere in a dusty, deserted town. He's going to be isolated, no contact. At Clinton, I was told that there was inmates there that made moonshine, also known as Pruno, Hooch. At Clinton, they called it Clear. And the inmates would buy it for $10 a bottle in a Gatorade bottle. So David Sweat, I understand, used to drink there. So no more getting high, no more getting drunk. That's all over for him.
Well, note to self, David Sweat, don't break out of a maximum security prison, because if you thought your life
He's
was
not
hell
getting out of
before,
there, Brooke.
he's not. Larry Levine, thank you so much.
Certainly.